Oh, hey, it's Saturday again, 6 o'clock. What's going on? It's time to do some marlining. I'm just checking myself out. That's me looking at me. That's me looking at you. And that's me looking at code. I guess that's how it's going to work today. So, how's everybody? It's been a long week. I've been keeping stupidly bad hours and just, I don't know, today I woke up kind of depressed. But not so depressed that I can't carry on with this stuff. I've been doing some really interesting work of late, so let's bring it up. Oh, I've also got to grab the latest of everything, so let's do all that. I've got VS Code here ready to go. Got let's see, where am I at? I don't need this today. We're going to be working on the Auto Build Marlin plugin, as seen here. And we're going to be working on, I've got some new things. I've been working on a lot of stuff, and I'm in a state of confusion right now with some of it, so we're going to try and work out some of that confusion and that contusion and all that stuff, and maybe that delusion as well. And maybe I don't need this so close. It can just be back here. And that'll give us a chance to change our viewing angle a little bit for you guys. How's this? Happy Saturday. It's been like streaming day for all the 3D printing people. I just got off Tim's stream and at TH3D, and Jerry's doing his thing, of course, as every Saturday. And oh, that's my hand, my old man hands. Still working after all these years. I can't believe they still type. I haven't gotten like RSI and all that kind of stuff. I've been lucky. Maybe I'm lazy. That's probably what it is. Now I have Copilot doing most of my typing, so oh, here we go again. Sorry. I'm going to keep adjusting until this is just right. Just for you all. There you go. I need a nice robot eyeball to stare into. Okay, there we go. And yeah, as you can see, it's getting towards sunset, and the sun is streaming in nice and bright. It's like 100 degrees today, middle of August, August 20th. Wow. That's some good coffee. Finally got a better roast. I was trying something new, and I was like, do I like dark roast? I was like, maybe. So I got a dark roast, and I was like, it just wasn't doing it for me. It doesn't have the strong enough buzz, for one. And I don't know, I just find it a little bit too neutral or something. I like something a little more, I guess, a little bit acidic, but not too much. So I'm going for a medium roast these days. I think that's where we're at. Let me do some adjustment here of my little face, because I don't know where we're going to be. I don't know what we're going to be looking at today. I'm just going to move myself around until it works. So let's get on with what's good. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. Code, that's why we're here. Code stuff. So let's get the latest. As you can see, I've been working on the simulator a little bit, or at least playing with it. I was trying to use it to, I was actually just testing some G-code bugs, and I was like, oh, we found a nice one where there was a change a while ago where we were using our own like number to string conversion, or string to float or whatever, and it was working great because it doesn't do much. It just goes and finds the digits and the decimal point and sort of arranges them in the right way and gets them into float format, and returns that, but it doesn't do anything fancy. Like, it doesn't look for exponents. It doesn't try to interpret it as hexadecimal. But it turns out that the built-in string to float does that for some reason. Which I guess, maybe you do want to turn a hexadecimal string into a float number. That makes sense, I guess. Just skip the integer step, but still, yeah. So that we had our own, but then someone came in and made a change that went back to using the system version, and I don't know exactly why. I think there was something about ours, or maybe it just didn't matter. It was like, it seemed like it didn't matter, but it turns out it did. because if you had a, we weren't avoiding the hexadecimal situation where you had something like G1 Y0 with no space X10 or something like that. It would interpret it as Y16 X10. It's like, oh my god. So there are actually little plugins for like Octoprint that'll remove all the spaces from your G code and other things that like Meatpack that'll actually compress it using an RLE run length encoding style kind of compression. Actually, it's a little similar to zip. It does a little bit of like bit fiddling to figure out what the most common. It predetermines, it decides ahead of time that the most common characters in G code are going to be this and this and this. And so it does a little bit of like, you know, the 1 bit for the is what the, or something like 1 bit is the first most common character, takes just 1 bit. And then the second most common character is like, or 2 most common characters are like 2 bits. And then the next 3 most common characters take 3 bits. And then the next 7 take like 4 bits or something like that. Or is it next 7 takes 3 bits? I don't know. But yeah, it's basically you get compression on the scale of like, it's simple to Huffman, it's similar to Huffman, Limpel, Zev, I don't know what all the names are. There's so many names, but yeah, zip type compression. Which is good because then you're using like bit fields and it takes up, you know, it means you're sending a lot less data over the serial stream, but then we have to interpret on the other end. So apparently there was something about that, you know, was, of course, that would exacerbate the problem if you had that X in the middle of a move or whatever. You know, usually X is at the front, which is good because when you say G1, it doesn't try to interpret the G1 as a float number. So it doesn't go like G1 X10 and go, oh, G16, huh? No. Or something like that. It would have to be G0 because it has to start with a 0X exactly. So it would have to be a precise situation. But so in very rare situations, you'd get some weird interpretation of something in front of X. And then the X itself would be fine because it's like, you know, it just goes on and sees the X as a normal X. So yeah, stupid stuff like that. We had just had to like, if you see an E or an X in a number before you're about to convert it, just take it out and then do the conversion and put it back and then carry on. So yeah, it was like also, yeah, because we had the same problem with extruder at one time, or that was a potential problem. So that stuff was all, you know, in there to prevent the automatic string conversions. But like, you know, when I think about it now, I'm like, yeah, I guess it would make more sense to like just go back to our method of using a simpler conversion, because it's gonna, you know, being simpler is good because it goes faster and uses less resources. Anyway, I'm way ahead of where I'm at with this. Let me fetch origin, and I'm just going to replace what I have with my current work, which I've been doing on my laptop. Geez, where did I push it to? I'm pretty sure I pushed it upstream just now, but it should say I've got changes, but it doesn't. Maybe I pushed it upstream. That would be funny. Oh yeah, I did. I pushed it upstream. A branch with that name already exists. Okay, well, we'll rename this branch, I guess. That's fine. Let's go get the other one. And is this one I just pushed? Doesn't look like it. Oh heck, am I gonna have to like go grab my laptop and get it off there? 2.20A4 blah blah blah. Oh wait, maybe this is my editor work in progress. 3 days ago though. No, I just did a commit like a second ago. All right, let me check my, maybe I can get to it from the Finder. Let's see what's going on in the Finder. Not much. Let's see if I can't get to my laptop. It's closed lid, so I'm like, will it actually connect? Oh, yes, it will. It waits for network access because, of course, it does. Right. Let's go grab. I do a screen share. even though it has no, oops, screen currently showing. Should get us there. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Auto Build Custom Editor Origin. Work in progress. Oh, it does say 3 days ago. Well, that's particularly strange. I think it's because I merged the commit. That's probably what's going on. All right. Well, good. We can disconnect and we can just use this then. All right, here's our work in progress. And it is actually upstream, which is fine. I don't mind pushing my custom editor stuff to the Marlin fork, the Marlin Firmware org. So in general, yeah, otherwise things are going well. You know, it's been a very, I don't know, living in Austin has been a little bit of a bummer because I don't really know anyone here. I know someone actually from Massachusetts who is living here, and he's a painter though, and he's like, you know, I've invited him to hang out, and like never really replies, so I don't think he really likes me, which is fine. I didn't really like me then either. When I met him, I was in such a weird place, trying to, you know, between careers, as it were. I was living in a place where I couldn't do the kind of stuff I'm able to do now, you know. And so I was like, I fled. I was like, fine, okay. Clearly, you know, I love living here and I like being in this environment and stuff, but there's just no work opportunity for what I do or what I want to do. Maybe there were, but I just was like, you know, where I need to go for the stuff I want to do. Like, you always think of the ideal place, like, oh, I want to be a chef, I'm going to move to Paris, you know, or New York or something. But sure, so I thought Seattle would probably be the place to go if I was going to do creative coding. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Like, drop everything, sell everything, just put, you know, 1 carload of stuff is all I have, and I'll just go to the opposite coast and we'll see what happens. And yeah, that was what happened. I purged everything and just basically started over. And now I have way too much crap. But it's just from being, you know, in this scenario and having to, you know, getting all these printers for testing and development. Just wild. But you know how it is. Life, man, it goes in strange directions. Anyway, I could talk about it all day, but and I really shouldn't. There's too much nostalgia, man. It's just an opening for fascism. Right? So let's see. A little insight into the documentation. I might put this back the way it was. I had this, was it in downloads? I forget. But I had like the new version releases in another file, and it was referred to by the front page, and I forgot. The front page uses it to display the current version, and I was like, oh, right. So I ended up moving it to a spot where it, whoops. So I can just go and undo that at some point. We'll fix up the website and make it look pretty. All right, so what have I added? Well, let's go over what I've added to Auto Build recently. And first I'll do a reload of this here window where I'm actually hosting a copy of Marlin Firmware. And so when I open up a file like config.adv, you see it comes right up. It's actually pretty astounding. I've gotten it so it loads really fast because it actually loads the 2 files and prepares them and does all this parsing. As soon as you reload, like when I reloaded the window, you might have not noticed, but it took a little smidgen longer, like it would take about half a second or something, but it's going through and parsing the config files. And I thought, you know, if I'm, maybe when I do that, there's other stuff going on setting up the interface, and maybe it's happening in the background because of the way it's setting up the modules and stuff. So I was like, well, it probably would be better to do it there anyway, but I'll get into that. There's this, basically the scenario was, originally when you opened a file, it was the editor code right there that you're seeing, like this is the HTML part, and then you see the JavaScript part is hidden, but of course all the behaviors and stuff, changing colors and all that kind of other thing that's going on, altering the file, all handled by, you know, a little JavaScript in the background. So that JavaScript of course also pulls in the file and parses it and turns it into the form you see. But I realized quickly that, you know, in order to have the second configuration work at all properly, I would need to have access to all the stuff in the first configuration plus the conditionals LCD file, which comes in between. That's this file, which has lots of conditions, like if you're using, well, first it goes through all the LCDs and figures out flags that pertain to those LCDs, and it takes it's basically condensed from a bunch of stuff that had been developed over time. So it's not like we invented this whole hog. It's just like piece by piece, this turned into this mess we see today. Yeah, so it needs all this, and so I just figured, well, I'll throw this in and let it interpret it and see what happens, and I'll squash it down, take out all the comments and stuff, and then I'll do the same with the first config, and then I'll just stick them on the front of a big blob, and then I'll have the configuration ADV, and I'll put them in a special section. That was the other thing. I'll take all the section markers out and just put a special section at the top, underscore. It's called underline. And that will be the section that's hidden and no other, and you'll never see it. And then but it'll still be in the schema, so when I go to interpret the conditions, it gets them all. And it worked fine, great. But, once you have that blob put together, it's like, how do you then, if you go and change the configuration, how do you get that data back into the blob to get it back into the other editor? And how does that other editor respond? Like if I go to edit this file, sure, I expect this form to change and the file itself to change, and the appearance, which things are visible to update or not based on the things that they're dependent on. But I don't expect that to happen with the other file and the other editor over here necessarily. They're not really tied together, but they can message each other. If I send a message from this configuration H back to the controller, or the provider, so-called, it actually, even though there's two separate provider instances, of course you can make static members of any class, but the thing is, those static members still live in their own little isolated bubbles. So I was like, well, how can I get this to work? Like, how can I avoid this isolated bubble problem? And it turns out, well, even though there's an instance of, the class for each window and they're separate from each other, they still share a single script. And because they share a single script, you can define and bind things in that script that apply for all time for the entire session and apply to everything. And you can send messages back and forth between the windows as long as you have, you have to have some way for them to get the message from their own controller. Yeah, it gets a little weird because basically you need to have something which is like well, I guess the basic way to say it is each time you create one of these instances, you store a reference to it in the global script, and then and you keep a count. You know which of these editors you have open at any given time. And so when you have, just one open, you don't have to worry about doing the extra messaging. If you have the other one open, then you do. So yeah, that was kind of like where I was at, and I'm looking at it like, also I took it and I made it so that the data is actually all grabbed and parsed at the beginning, and then it's always kept, and it always just sends over the schema data instead of it doesn't send over the text or anything like that, which, there's so many big comments. And I mean, it still sends over those big comments, okay, because it is but it's sending it over as in a JSON, or I should say as an object with, a dictionary, basically. A structured object, I guess you could call it. It's sending that over, and as it sends it over, I figure it's possible that it could be sending a reference, but I guess it's serializing and then unserializing it. I'm not really sure, but I did try to do something like send over a message that had a reference in it to something, and it was like, I can't serialize that, sorry. That thing goes away, so that can't be serialized. Or there was something I was pointing to, and it was like, yeah, I can't serialize a reference. I can only serialize things that are built into the structure itself. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I guess it makes sense. Not everything is a reference. You can you can make references to things inside of an object, but inside of an object, when you make references to other things, yeah, it gets complicated. You need to make copies inside your object to serialize them, I guess, is what's going on. And or you can get more complex, and maybe you can make a thing that is self-referential class kind of thing, blob, and then serialize that. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. But yeah, all the same stuff works, of course. If I say heat, it just shows me the things, the name, it just matches the names. The indentations are working now. I've got the thing where it marks them dirty. Although it's sort of not working at the moment because it's supposed to, when you know, when you uncheck the thing, like you check and uncheck, it's supposed to, well, it's also not modifying the document. I can see here, it's not changing the modified state. So yeah, I got a few broken things right now because I'm still in the midst of doing this, but we'll get there. We'll get there. This is sort of one of the more, in a way, the more tedious part. So apologize for today's slight tedium. But yeah, it says apply config change is not defined. Well, that makes sense. I must have renamed it to something else. So yeah, we'll get back into it. Let's find our bugs and maybe we can get it working. I can do more demos as we go. The things I'm hoping, oh, I also, well, before I get into that, I'll just make a note of some of the other things I added. You'll notice that when I open the panel, there's now something in the Marlin info pane finally. And it's basically, this is a web view. So, you know, I'll be able to do all the things that you can do in a web view, like I've done here, and like I've done with the panel over here. And so I was originally thinking I'd use a tree view, but they're very, I mean, they can be flexible, but, you know, like when you go to Platform.io and you're like, oh, I want to build this thing, and you go through this whole process of like, oh yeah, but it ends up looking like folders and like, what does this dot mean? Like, is that an action? Is going to do an action when I do that? Like, it should look like a button if it's going to do an action. So I'm like, I don't really like that. You know, I mean, I get it. You can also add tasks. Like, I could change the tasks actually, and I could add a special task to this. Maybe to this. I don't know if I could add it to this particular thing. I think there is a way you can do it, but I don't know if you can apply it to Platform.io. I know there is like a VS Code has a concept of tasks, because right up here you see run task, and it gives you like all these tasks. You can configure them, and right now it's got, you know, Platform.io, and here's all Platform.io tasks. And so these are, you know, similar to, you know, like I've just done a build, but no, it didn't work because I didn't do this build because it tried to use some environment that wasn't the right environment. So it's like, yeah, you know, it's still not, yeah. So anyway, tree views, yes. So as you can see, tree views, and that's kind of like, that's the limit. You can either do a tree view where you have something like this, and it's like, yeah, I don't necessarily like the pointy triangles either. Like, I don't necessarily want to do that. So, and I also may want to show other things in that pane. And I don't really want to have a lot of other panes, but I thought it'd be good. Like this one, you can't even do anything with. This welcome pane, all you can do is just change what contents are there, but you can't, you know, I mean, you can't like write a JavaScript in here or do anything fancy at all. So the other thing I added was this auto reveal checkbox here, which as I just did this build, it all automatically brought me to the binary. That's just basically because apparently people were having trouble discovering this was a link that brought you to your opened your window to where it should be. So yeah, that was so I figured this was better to have that here. And let's see, what else has changed? Well, of course, this was tricky, finding how to put a web view in here. I was like, oh, I need all the pieces. So if anybody wants to do a plugin like this, there are examples of how to do this. And if you just use the example, you probably get, you know, you get what you want. You get a web view inside of a panel. If you're starting from where I am and you're like trying to add it all into a thing that already exists, maybe it was harder on that basis. I don't know. But yeah, I ended up calling it, let's see, here we are back in our structure. This thing's starting to get almost complicated. I called it info.js, provider for the sidebar. And yeah, and so you just need to basically, let's see, this is all so far. Yeah, you need to register a WebView provider with your, whatever your view type is. In this case, I called it abm.infoview. And then you need to have your, let's see, and you do have to, you have to have a thing called resolve WebView view that takes a WebView view. And that's not to be confused with a WebView, which confused me. And then it takes a token, and I guess I did use the token somewhere down here. Or no, maybe not. So yeah, only WVV actually needs to get used. You can you can use the web view context, which is not the same thing as the web view view. I think it might be related to the context that is in the provider. I don't know. Maybe it gets it from the provider. If you don't set a context here in the up here, like it won't like you. That's possible. So yeah, the first thing you have to do is keep a copy of your view, and you can name it whatever you want. I just keep a copy of it for, let's see, am I using it for anything? I'm not really. I think they say take ownership of the web view view. So you're not actually using it, but by keeping a reference to it, you're keeping a reference. Nothing else, because nothing else will have a reference to it after you've left this, apparently. It just wants the, I think only the view matters or something, I'm not sure. But so yeah, you do your usual thing. I want to enable scripts for my web view. I want here's some HTML, and you make a little function to do that. And then you can make handlers that go to the web view view. Web view view. And so yeah, there's one called on did change visibility, and one called on did dispose. Those apply to the web view view, and the web view has a did receive message, and so it can receive a message, and then you do your usual thing when you receive a message from the web view, So yeah, and it calls this on a handle message. So overall, let's see, that's pretty much all you have to do with this part. I just have a thing where I just do that. I post a message to update the web view, and I just say hello. But that's just a demo message. It doesn't actually say hello. But I could put that there if I wanted to. I could say hello. Or put a message in. But yeah, then the other stuff, your web view is basically usual thing, nonce, and all that nonsense. The other part is the info view JS, and so usual thing. Just it's probably not much here. You have a handle message. You have your setup up here. I create a little log. I have a demo for some element I might want to talk to. I'll probably maybe I'll include jQuery in there if I need it. Depends on what happens. And then, so when the tab is revealed, of course, you have as an option to get and store your state and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll be needing a state, but I think basically the way this one works too is like you get hidden or shown messages when you do this, but if you do if you say hide, it actually does a closed message. So that's the difference. You get a different event in that case because it's gone, and then you probably need to save the state in that case. But yeah, otherwise you get just the normal hide show message. I don't know if I printed that. Yeah, on did change visibility, true, false, true, false. And then if I hide it, I don't know if I have it do the other message. Yeah, you notice it didn't change visibility, it just went away. And then when you bring it back, now it did it, now it's true. So it actually does get a message when you show it, when you recreate it, which is interesting. You might be able to use that for something. Maybe if you need to update it or you want it to when it's not shown, you don't need to do anything. So you can just not do anything. But when you show it, it's going to be out of date. So that's when you want to update it. So yeah, I think an event like will show would make more sense. But maybe that's what it means. It's about to show, so it gives you a chance to do something, and then it shows. If you got a message after it showed, that would be kind of okay, now you have to look at this incomplete state and watch it update, which maybe you want. I don't know. It's a style thing. Let's see what else we got. So. Oh, right. And then the only other weird thing about this that confused me was when you create the view, here it is, itself, you have to declare it as a web view. I don't know how I missed that, but it actually, when you hover, it actually tells you all the things you need to know. Like the hovering is great. Like the tooltips you get from VS Code for, you know, its understanding of its own extensions are really good. I don't know if I have anything else installed that helps me with extensions per se. I think it's just the built-in stuff. But yeah, it tells you all about that. The tooltips are pretty readable, nice. They're not ugly. Identifier. So yeah, and then it even tells you like you need to call registered tree data provider or whatever. But I changed it to a web view, so you know, it should be telling me use a web provider or whatever. But yeah, Marlin info. Yeah, so that was the only other bit. And then I was a little bit confused just about how view containers relate and where it was going to show and all that. But yeah, this is a view views, but it's more or less view containers. So web view really in a way. I call it info view, but you know, it's whatever. And a welcome view, of course, also not, you know, these can be very different from each other. You can have a tree view here or whatever, but that's apparently the default. And yeah, there's all our welcomes and commands. Oh yeah, and then I added some commands, some new commands. Format Marlin code, which you'll see when you go to the command palette. If I go here, you'll see I've got format Marlin. Oh, I have to actually have code open for it to show me that. But yeah, like say I go to a pins file, for example. Let's pick this one on any random pins file, and I just mess it all up. You know, this formatter for format Marlin code will fix that and make it align correctly. I don't know if it does anything else in this file. It did a few things apparently. Something up here, something down there. But yeah, so that's one of the handy things I added. So it's more for developers, of course. But you know, you may want to do some code formatting. I don't know what. Yeah, and then I added. Let's see. I don't know if it can handle, like if I was looking at this, like if it would show it. Save without formatting. Interesting. Yeah, no, it doesn't have that. It's interesting. So, but if I have a CPP file open, it'll show me that format Marlin code. So my idea is with basic code, all it's really doing is, or you know, with your standard code, not pins code, that has a little extra formatting involved. I'm just dealing with indentation with the way that these indent. Like normally you don't necessarily indent processor directives, and then but some indenting or rather code formatters will do that for you. Well, the only one I've found that will do it is Uncrustify, but it doesn't do it quite perfectly. So I wrote a little extra script that after you do that, you can run that formatter, and you get to it from here, and it'll try to fix the indentation. It assumes that the indentation is just too far to the left, basically, and then it just tries to indent more appropriately. I need to work on certain things, like I don't know, I may have to actually go through and make sure, like, don't format comments, don't move them, or if you do move the whole comment, don't just move the line. Like what I was doing before, I tried some very simple solutions, and they would strip of course the spaces off the front of everything, and that was not good for comments. So yeah, I just want to make it format nicely with that a little bit, make it a little better, and just kind of fit the idiom. And then oops, I don't know how this no results thing is showing at the moment, but yeah, it's probably because it's just generally broken because of my background scripts aren't quite done. I'm still half through. So at this point, we're working on the editor part, and I won't show you the Easter egg. There's an Easter egg that will be available for you to discover on your own eventually. I guess you're not supposed to tell people about Easter eggs because that's the whole point. But let's just say if you find it, don't tell anyone. Just keep it your own secret. Of course, if you scour the source code, you'll find it quickly enough. But yeah, so the part I want to do now is a little bit on the more complicated side. So far I have it at least populating the forms, sending data over. But yeah, it's not handling the editing properly. It's not really getting the messages back and forth. I haven't exactly figured out how I'm going to do it. So I've tried little solutions and they partially work. So I think I'm going to be able to get a little further with that. And that's what we're going to try and do. And I'm not going to go too long today. I mean, I've already been rambling for 37 minutes without really doing much. So let's see what we can get into. But as you can see, this follows the same structure as the other info plugin or section, I should say, view. You can think of this as a view type. Each one has kind of a view connected to it. A formatter, which actually I didn't do my formatters as formatters. There is a formal way to define formatters, which is all kind of down in the bottom here. You do like provide formatting edits and all this other stuff, so you can do formatting like on a per line basis. Like, you need to basically fill their methodology of doing things, and that way you get all the features for free. It'll format the selection, or just the current line, or format every time you hit return, or just format on save, or whatever you like. But to get all that behavior, you have to do it as a formatter. I just ended up making mine into scripts that you call, because formatters are tricky. They're a little bit on the tricky side. I just wanted to make sure that, and also like, you have to define, oh, I want to use this formatter for this file, and like getting people to go and change their formatter in the settings, and it's just not really appropriate, I don't think, in a way for this. So I just turned them into commands, which makes, I think, in some ways more sense for this kind of thing anyway. I would almost like to do that with Uncrustify as well, but I may, in the long run, I may do that. It's like these extensions, even when they're big, they're not that big. They're certainly, like, it's probably smaller than your typical, small MPEG, movie or whatever. Definitely tiny. So anyhow, let's move on to figuring out the next part. Okay, yeah, I wrote down the plan. I won't bore you with my notes. They're all just for myself, and I probably made bad jokes in them. So one of the things I wanted to do was workspace root. That's a pretty common thing you do. You just need the path to your workspace root. I needed that so I could read and, get things as I need them. But it turns out I have the Marlin class here, or module, I guess you'd say. And I have the ABM module, so I can move things into those modules that are more general. And so I was kind of messing around in those, and I made a thing called path from array, which I was already doing, but for something specialized, and I was like, well, let's just make it standard. So just, so I need to get these, and I just get the paths, and then I get the files, and then it's all read synchronously rather than asynchronously. And then I do this whole thing where I blend them together. You can see I've done this combo, and it's pretty simple. Add a section underscore, do a stripped config, which I ended up changing schema, adding to schema a little thing that just takes out all the comments and in the thing you send, and just cleans it all up before it tries to convert it into a schema. And you can see they're just being added together, boom, plus the config schema strip config text, plus the strip config, which returns the text, plus another section, and then the second config. Finally, it imports the two. And so you end up with one that is, again, just configuration one, and then you get the other one, which is the combination. I don't necessarily want to do it this way. I need to provide enough data, but I do need to provide the very data that is the first configuration and the conditionals. Otherwise, you know, the second configuration doesn't work. So yeah, that's the thing. There's really no way around it. I would love to have methods that I could call from the web editor back to this, but you can't. You can send messages, and messages are slower. So, and it depends. I guess it would depend on how much messaging I really needed to send back and forth, because like they're not too huge. The thing I want to try to avoid is having to reparse the entire schema, but I do generally have to. But cleaning it up has helped. So I'm trying to think if I can, well, the thing I should do is just find out what's going on with the edits and then work my way up the chain until I get to a point where I'm sending messages and so forth. Like I have some here, whereas the original, like you can see here's, let's see, we've taken care of resolving the custom text editor. I want to make sure this doesn't need to be here. Oh wait, this includes this. Okay, so yeah, I'm taking functions inside of functions, and just because it's easier, especially when something is taking something like a document as an argument and you need to use that. So one of the things I really wanted to do was to, I don't know, I definitely need to make some kind of, yeah, like here we've got, I create them and I return them and I have a combined schema. And now so it's like I kind of do need that, but I don't really need this until I load that second window. On the other hand, you know, like what happens in the interim? Like what if after you've loaded, you know, because this is meant to be persistent, so I need to watch the files for changes, which only happens normally when the editor is open. However, because this thing gets called again and retained from the very start, this is where I'm going to be able to do that stuff. So yeah, so I'm going to have to do that. Right, let's make a plan or just sort of stumble our way through. I mean, I have a plan, but it's so vague. Let's just take a look at what we're doing now and we'll see what's breaking and we'll try and fix it up. So one of the things that happens is we send a message and we want to update the document. And that should come back to us. If I make sure I've got logging on here, do I have any logging in this thing? Not really much. I didn't do much logging. I guess I can just set breakpoints or something and figure it out as I go. I do have a console log there. So apply config change. We can sort of follow what happens when we get to this. So it's going to be applying a config change and it's going to be sending us some data. Oh look. And then it'll be showing us a line that changed. I guess we could skip that. And it'll tell us if it's not a define or if it is a define. Okay. New text equals text. Lighting in here is ridiculous. Look at this. I'm going blind. I may have to change that. We'll see. Whew. It's the end of the day, baby. All right. Well, let's do our reloads, and we'll just see what comes out. Oops, something bad. Couldn't connect Discord? Well, that's not important. Although, you know, probably should turn on Discord. It can't hurt to have a little Discordian involvement. Yes, there we go. Hello. As usual, doing my Saturday thing and joining in with you guys a little late. There you go. How's it going, everyone? Yeah, we are live streaming. As per usual, Hope everyone's having a good August Saturday evening and just chilling. It's a good night for just, I don't know, it feels very extra summery even though it's like swelteringly hot outside. I think we need a separate season name for that. Summer to me is like I can open my windows and let the curtains blow, man. You know, this 100-degree weather is like I can't open my windows. That's not summer. That's like, I don't know what you call it. But it ain't summer. Okay, so let's see how broken we are here. So I do like how fast it opens. That makes me happy. Having pre-gathered all the data ahead of time, it really makes a difference. Now, see, that doesn't change from dirty to undirty. So, oh yeah, that's right. I still don't have I've got that bad function call. What was it again? Oh yeah, apply config change. How'd that happen? Is it this apply config change? Also, I want to almost quit Sublime Text just because, but I kind of need to have it open so I can do external modifications and see what happens to the file, or how it behaves in the editor. I'm going to need to do that. So we'll just follow the bouncing ball until we get to our destination. Let's see. So here's apply config change. Where is apply config change? It's down here. So my guess is I need to define it above, or it doesn't see it, or it's within the class and therefore I need a this on it. Let's just try this. Let's see how that works. Probably does the trick. Yeah, I keep going back to Sublime. I still have not broken that bad habit. All right, let's see what we get. Oh, still mad. Cannot read properties of undefined reading apply config change. Interesting. That's peculiar. I've never heard that one before. Okay. It says it's on line 1. Jesus, there I did it again. 170 right here. Okay, so it is not part of this. What's going on? Okay, it isn't. Yeah, I guess something interesting is you just have to, oh, wait, how do I do get web view HTML? I do this. I do a this on that one, so therefore I must be able to do a this on the other one, right? Yeah, it's in the same location. Yeah, right? Must be something else going on. All right, there's always something else going on. Yeah, I've been kind of catching up with a little bit. I've watched a couple streams of Jonathan Blow. It's like, the game programming guru of our time, writing his own language and so forth. But yeah, he's got a lot of good wisdom in the industry, and having been through so many, having actually completed projects and stuff. I don't think is there any kind of completion here? It's one of the things. This is never going to be done. Someone should ask me that sometime. When's Marlin going to be done? I don't know. It's going to be done as soon as it's obsolete, I guess, which it is not. People are trying to, we get a lot of rude people who come into our forums and like just say, hey, you should switch to Clipper. It's like, will it make me act like you? Because I don't really want to do that if that's going to happen. But, that's the thing. Everyone gets gung-ho about their religious awakenings, right? They want everyone to know, and they want to spread the good news. Sorry, I have a lot of dust here. As much as I love my little automatic robot vacuum, the one thing it doesn't do is dusting. I still have to do that myself. And I'll tell you, it gets everywhere. You're such a, enlightened master. Why all this busy sweeping? It's because the dust comes from outside, my friends. It comes from outside. There's nothing I can do about the dust that comes from outside. Just gotta keep sweeping and polishing. And I know what you're saying. If there is no stand nor mirror bright, then where shall that dust alight? Cannot read properties of undefined reading apply config change at handle message. That's so weird. I don't know what that even means. So it never gets there? Is that what you're saying? Type error. Okay. Yeah, it says 170, man. I don't get it. I don't get what's going on here. Is it because... No, I just don't know. This get web view HTML works just bloody fine. Oh, you know what it might be? Oh, it's because it's a function. Oh, right. I forgot. I have to use self. Wonder how I do that. I guess here I just declare a const. Yeah. Oh, it's not letting me do that. It can only be used in TypeScript files. Don't give me that crap. What are you talking about? Where's the JavaScript, man? But yeah, you can't use it in a... Oh, that's weird. Okay. Var? Self? No. Damn it, I've done this before. Where? Where did I do it? I did it over here in JStep, schema. Oh, I did it in... Apparently I did it in something that needed it. I don't know how you... I'm not quite sure how you do this. Of course, it's inside of a thing, so... Oh, you know what? As long as it's inside something... Oh, wait, no. Damn it. All right, what's it in? How did I do this? I'm not going to say this self equals this because that makes no sense. But yeah, handle message, okay. Maybe I just need to say this handle message, or it's inside of something else, isn't it? Here it is, resolve custom text editor. It's inside there, so you can't, yeah, I can't call it from, it has to be inside of resolve custom text editor otherwise. So what's going on? I think the reason it's outside here is because I wanted access to something that I might not otherwise be able to get access to. So I think that's why it's there. Hello Discord, what's going on? I hear your characteristic bleeping. Or is it a chonk? I don't know what you call it. Honking? So yeah, let me see. Is there anything in here that I need? Oh, it also refers to this, which is fine. I think, yeah, I need to refer to... Update with view, yeah. So I don't know, maybe I do need to put it up in here. I didn't really want to, maybe, for some reason. Not sure, but we'll see what we end up with. Oh, well, this there is kind of problematic, isn't it? We still have that problem with, like this actually has a this too, this dot schema. So I need to be able to have that self somewhere, I feel like. So what do I do? Oh, you know, I could just do it outside. I don't think I can. Again, it's the problem we have is like there's only one instance of the script at any given time. It does not load more than once. But the class does load more than once, so I can't be creating something in the script like a global, because those will be applying to every single instance of the script or of the editor. So yeah, it's a little tricky. Okay, think about it for a moment. Yeah, some of the things you have to do, I needed to get the class out of there. It's like, okay, we'll do it how we have to do it. Schemas, combined schema, right. I guess I can call something in here that calls something out there. Like, what is update? Like, I get to call update web view, but I just got to figure out the schema problem. Yeah, like you can see here, console. If I say like console log, and I say editor.js, I don't know how many times I've said that, but just that once. So I guess if I go searching for that in the log, it's not going to be so great. So let's make it all caps or something. Oh, that won't help either, will it? Okay, fine. We'll call it abm editor.js or something, just so it shows up more clearly. We do a reload here, and then yeah, as you can see, the data. So the schema is all built, and you can see it's only showing us the top level. Config schema, data. Oh, my big fat head's in the way. Sorry. And yeah, all this stuff comes up here. So yeah, you got your data info, and down here you can see that this additional one has got the extra object before it goes into all the other stuff. And what else has it got thrown in there? Some interesting ones. Custom main menu. Oh, right, those are sections. Oh, I see. It just puts quotes around the ones that have spaces, so there's no difference. Right. Okay, so yes. So as far as that goes, yes, it says that the one time. Now, if I open up the other config, and then we go searching for how many times did it say, you know, ABM editor, only the once. That's the one time we'll ever see it, no matter how many times I open these things. So yeah, you can see there's only one instance of ABM editor. So that makes some sense. Let's change this color theme today. What should our color theme today be? I found a nice blue one that was really neat, called it Atari something. Let's see if I can go grab that. Oh yeah. It's just got this nice blue that I like. Let's see. Give me just themes, please. One called Atari XE. There we go. Boop. Yeah, that's nice. I'll take it. Yeah, very blue. Very blue. Oh yeah, I think this makes the form look nicer, honestly. And you can see it adapts really well to different themes. And I've done a pretty good job of, using just transparency and not messing with the colors, so that it can use whatever theme you choose. I guess I could turn things, put some tints on things, but that would ruin its consistency and how well it matches. I'm thinking about taking these little things and turning them into full width headers. I'm not sure why this is even showing at the moment. I guess my filtering isn't so great at the moment. So yeah, it's supposed to hide these empty sections when they're not, but it's only, oh yeah, of course it's relying on the first config for that. Well, no, it's not. It's using that whole composite thing, so not sure what's going on there. We'll work it out. I don't know why there's a puzzle piece on leveling. I didn't have a lot to work with here. I could use a picture of a bed, but it was like a bed you sleep in. I'm like, why would I? No. I don't know what to use for that. So, okay. So we have our open editors. I wonder if there's something else you can do. Open an integrated terminal? What? No. You can't do that open in another editor style. Over here, you can do, what else can you do? Toggle vertical horizontal. Oh, that's interesting. That doesn't seem to do much. I think it has to do with when you have more than one instance of a thing open, which we're also going to have to deal with. All right, so no untitled, thank you. I guess I closed them all. Close all? Yeah, that's cool. Very cool, man. All right, getting used to these. All right, so you can see they do load up pretty quick. They do that. They have to refresh, and that requires them to rebuild from state. And they're using the state that is given to them across the message scape. So yeah, this is the interesting part. Okay, so given that that's the case, how do I get a reference to the instance in this apply config change thing? I don't know. I guess I have to pass it. We'll just say, I guess, what is this thing called? Provider? Is it a provider? I guess if that's what it needs to be. And where do I keep my schema? This might be a case where I don't need to, like, schema equals something. Let me see, where is it? What? Where's schema? Oh, there it is. This schema equals basic or advanced in the provider. So yeah, it gets it out of the full structure in this case. And I'm still like, I still haven't decided how is best to get this constructed, but again, I've actually got it now where it's updating. I've got the message now. It sends, when it does the update to the data, it also calls a function to update our local copy of it. So, apply config change. It can't find it. Well, it can't be on this. It doesn't know where to find it. Give me help. Give me some help here. Damn it. Okay. Well, it does. I wonder if I just put it above. No, it can't. It has to have a reference to the class to be able to call it from within here. Is it that this isn't this? Is it? What is this? What is this when this gets called, I wonder? Because it has a this schema right here. So how can it refer to this schema? And the other thing refer to this schema, but they're not in the same realm. I guess maybe that's possible. Like maybe this is still okay inside of this. Although I gotta be careful. Where is this schema? You know, property config editor provider dot schema is actually, well, that means, does that mean it's the class plus? Is a class method like a, or does that mean? No, it's the instance, as it were. I wish it would be more clear about that, whether it's an instance or the class. Okay, right. I just put that in my clipboard. Let's figure out a place to stick it. I don't know. I guess I'll put it above resolve or put it in here somewhere. Wait, it is in here. I don't want to put it inside of here, but I'm not sure what else I can do. Apply config change. I guess it matters. It does apply to the thing that it. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. This is the worst part when you don't know what exactly approach to even take. I just don't like this stage. It's so annoying. I'm not missing any Discordian importance, am I, at the moment? No? Okay. Just checking. Just got mentioned. Hi. Oh. Yeah. I still don't understand. There's something to do with someone's having confusion with how to hook up a display. I'm like, oh, you know, if there's something to be clarified, let's not discuss it. Just fucking fix up the pins file, change the comments or whatever to make it clearer. You know, it's like I'm just trying to find out so we don't have, you know, they're always talking about doing this and that to mitigate anybody ever being confused, and I think we do way too much talking on all that. I've been sick of our gabbing for a long time. It's like, I think it's important to have meetings about things and talk about certain things. But in general, like, you know, so much of it comes down to like, well, you know, try and fix it, give us your basic solution, and then we'll build from there. We should be talking in code, talking in C++ code as much as possible. That's my feeling about it. And doing, you know, and there, you know, there needs to be planning, careful planning around certainly a lot of things. You know, case in point here. It's just like, I mean, I have a design in mind, but I'm still a little fuzzy on how it's all gonna come together, because I know there's gonna always be complications. So, okay, I moved the thing up here where it can be seen, and I guess I could have moved it here or whatever, but and if I do, well, wait, no, there needs to be, damn it. Wait, where's the this coming from up here? It would have to be declared as a function. And I don't know what happens in that case. Like, oh, I'm thinking handle message, when you get E, it's actually this is E. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, so maybe it's here I can do it. I can say var self equals this, and then I can use self, because at this point, so now I can use self. I should be able to do that. Let's try that. All right, sorry about the confusion there. I think it should work. I still got the words ABM editor, so that's a start. And these did open, so that's a start. And now if we make a change, let's see if it complains. Boop. Okay, yeah, I got there. And now if we undo, oh, it's still confused. It's not doing the, yeah, I gotta get the data updated and do all the synchronization, which I had working fine at one point. Clearly not now, though. And the other thing is, like, the data, it's, I don't know, it has to definitely work. I'm gonna do this damn thing, let's see. So what am I looking at? Info, custom version file, right, I changed that. It tells me it's enabled, false, and then down here it tells me it's enabled, false again, again, and again. And it's interesting, I'm getting like 4 notifications about it. How many times did I click it? Just the once or twice? Oh my goodness. So each time I clicked it, I got two notifications. But they're no different from each other. So where am I printing this anyway? Where did I print this? Damn it, I gotta figure out where I'm printing stuff. Okay, so hello? Maybe it's in here. Oh yeah, there it is. Apply config change. Is that what it says? Yeah, a hint. All right, so the info we get is that the thing is supposed to be disabled. And then apparently, I don't know why we're getting it twice. That's annoying me. Or even 3 times. On did change. Oh, it gets an on did change message, so that's good. Because yeah, it definitely gets applied to the document. And then I also wanted to, yeah, here's update edited item in the schema. And then this has its own schema, which is actually either this or that. the basic one or the other one. So the local copy is supposed to get modified by this. So that's what we want to find out is if it actually does. And I put that into the schema class. So that's a new thing. Updated items enabled value from an edit, and yeah, just 2 fields. Although I think I ended up just using object assign, so it's copying over all the fields. Which I don't know if that's. I mean, I might want to copy over the dirty field, I guess. So that's probably, you know, or the original, the orig field. So yeah, it's. And then later, of course, I have to also update the required, and I'm not sure where I'm doing that at the moment. And then I have to, again, pass it all back. So all the things that I was doing over here in the web view or edit view JS, I'm going to be moving some of this stuff to the provider. So at the moment, let's just. I'm not sure how much to collapse this. Let's at least do 3. What do you say? Let's see what we get. Sorry, I'm about to have a terrible sneeze. Hold on a second. Oh, I was able to hold it. It must not be an involuntary thing after all. All right. That felt good. I needed the cortisol or whatever it is that goes to your brain. Dopamine, something like that. Cortisol's the bad stuff, right? Try not to get too stressed, you know. All right. Got that. There's so much going on with this form. It's great. It just keeps getting more interesting. Save web view state, right? That's the data that we want to save. We're saving the whatever scheme data we got in this view gets saved with it. Now this is interesting because we need to save something, but we already have the data in the in the provider. So I'm like, do I need to keep using the state? Or can I just use the state I have and assume that it's up to date? I guess I can assume that it's up to date. I am saving the filter. So yeah, it's an interesting question whether I should keep my local copy or just get a new local copy sent over. I don't know which one's quicker or what. My feeling is it's like, I know it's doing serialization and then it's going to do unserialization again. So it's like, it doesn't seem to matter much. Like I have, in the other, where I have the other data, like it's not serialized, it's just raw. And I don't think it's that much, so I'm like not too worried about it. It's not like gigabytes of data. It's just like maybe a meg if that. So yeah, if that. I could see hundreds of K, but like a full meg? I don't know. I could check, I suppose. Look at how much memory is used when I open one of these documents. Or just open up my plugin and turn it off and like see the difference. Anyway, yeah, that would be interesting to see. But so that's an interesting question, whether to keep the data here or not. So I'll keep that. I'll make a note about that. Right here, as you do. Should I put a colon on it? This should be down the extension. See, look at that. It knows what I'm sort of gonna say, but this is the extension, so you know. To do, use the what is it? State in the provider, I guess. Instead. Although I don't know if there's even a message that the provider gets when you reshow. I guess it probably does, given an opportunity to send over something. Let's see. Oh yeah, it just checks the state is part of what it does at the beginning. So I could see if it has a state and be like, well, if there's a state, well, there's always a state, right? So yeah, that's the real question. I'm kind of going outside of the norm of how you do one of these plugins, and that's part of why it's getting a little complicated. It's like normally your editors are supposed to be somewhat independent and just deal with the data that they encompass only. So it's like doing this way is like I should just be moving it into the into the main auto build pane, right? But that doesn't make much sense either. Like I can do so much more in the editor paradigm, and it makes kind of more sense for users. You open up the config, you don't want to have it switch to this and then show you everything. Maybe you just want to edit a line, and then switch to the regular editor or whatever. But so I don't know. It's just I want to make it as well. Look, a change came over though. It did change the document, so that much at least seems to be true. But yeah, I've noticed it's not keeping my orig data. Oh, there it is, version.h enabled false. Okay, so it does have the orig field in there, which is the original data. Just kept it short. So that's interesting. Okay. Value version enabled false. Okay. So yeah, but then we want to see what we get on the other side and that the content change is applied properly. So we're going to look at the schema and just make sure that that's happening. So coming back to our schema, and I don't know why it's in JS, but it is. I may have to find a separate spot for this, but as you can see, it's gotten kind of crazy long. It's like 1,100 lines at this point because I'm doing all this kind of crap. Just lots of little logical blocks where I'm like, oh, gotta add more logic, gotta add more logic. But it comes down to, like things like this, like has driver, well, you need to know what the types of drivers might be. So that's what these are for. Although I could get this info from somewhere on the form, but it doesn't, like there's no, I don't know how you'd know or whatever, where exactly I would put it. Somewhere in the config, I mean, I could use, the shorthand that I do in the comments. So I don't know. But yeah, each of these things, if you haven't been through this before with me, is just, it all gets evaled, and that's why I'm doing all that crazy remangling with regular expressions. It turns out my regular expressions are very effective. I was surprised. Like they're like this is pretty much all I needed to get things to conform. Like it looks for, I mean, you can kind of get into what I'm doing, but it looks for something which is a macro with, what does it have? A name, right? This is a case where it's looking for something it doesn't recognize, like something that doesn't have parentheses following it, so it must be just a bare symbol. Maybe it's got equals after it or greater than or something like that, and so I might need to go further and figure out. But it should be able to derive the value of the thing if it had been defined previously. So that's the idea, is if the symbol exists, it has a define, even though it's not necessarily a config define, it comes from like, conditionals or whatever, it can still find it. And so that was the idea here. Or if it is a define, it needs to say, oh, is this thing greater than 3? It can actually evaluate it. So that's one of the cool bits. And then the other thing I did was I just took everything that was inside of parentheses that needed to be, I forget what this exactly is. Let's see, what are we looking at? A thing and then a parenthesis, yes. So it just basically puts quotes around the thing that comes before something which isn't a parenthesis. Isn't that strange? So that was another interesting thing. Once I had, and then what else do I do? Then this last bit is replace a name thing which has a parenthesis and then a bunch of stuff and a comma and then a bunch more stuff, and capture all that stuff between the parentheses and put brackets around it. That's it, just puts braces around it. puts braces around whatever's in parentheses. This takes, and you can see it's GI, so it puts quotes around anything that's inside of parentheses, basically. And then this does just a precondition where it gets rid of things that like aren't inside of macros. It puts parentheses on them or puts them in parentheses, or I don't know. But you want the things that are inside parentheses to end up getting quoted. So first you move them in and then you quote them. So that was the idea here. So if I needed to do other wrappers for one reason or another around these things, I could use that. So this little blob actually it's done at that point. I can evaluate. It's crazy. I wouldn't really, it seems like you would have to do more. Like that first regular expression, I found this big old blob down here. I thought this was the one that was like the actual interpreter part. This is actually just cleaning up conditions. It just turns like, oh, you've got a couple of enabled, well, let's turn to a both, and you can see what it's doing. Make a both, make an all, make an either, make an any, make a none, but just try and squish them down, which isn't really that important, but if they do need to be reevaluated, this is quicker than, they'll be quicker to evaluate by squishing them down into combined things. So hopefully the idea is that you only have to do this, like once you've figured out the conditions, you do them once. Oh, that's an interesting idea too. Well, it was an interesting idea a second ago, but I'm thinking, like once you've captured the schema, all you really need to look at is the defines at that point. Like you don't need to look at the if stuff, you don't need to look at any of the else stuff or anything, you've already captured that. But if somebody went and did, fundamentally huge edits on the file, you would want to update that info. So I'm kind of like, okay. And it isn't that slow. And it just shouldn't happen that often either. So we'll see. Okay, we're going through. I'm really just doing, this review is as much for me as for you guys, because I just have been kind of just staring at the wall waiting for this to have, like all the code to come into my brain so I can just go and type it out with like dictation, like taking dictation, but it hasn't happened. Still waiting. Here we go. So yeah, that's that strip config thing. Remove all the comments and other detritus. Then create an empty ordered schema. Do this emoji thing. I don't know which of these I'm going to end up using for anything. Defined before. Oh, this is important. Was something defined before something else? SID. I call it serial ID. I guess given. I like the word given. The given item. It was given to me. I am a function. Okay, so actually you're a method man. Here we have get items in section, which I had to build all these little helper thingies. Get some items passing a function that tests for the items you want to get. So you can look at the fields and say, I want anything that's got a value over 10 or whatever. And then it skips the underscore section actually. So it's actually meant to, it basically tries to pretend that section doesn't exist at all. But it also, needs to use it for certain things. So when you get items, yeah, it doesn't use that section per se. Well, that's an interesting one. I may want to look at that again, like, because maybe I do want to get some of those items. Let me see, where am I using it? And then there's, yeah, get items in section, which is another thing. If has driver, then, yeah, so we don't need to worry about that so much, I don't think. And then this one, other, well, this could apply. So, yeah, I think maybe I would just add something like section doesn't equal underscore. The problem is, like, I really want to be able to skip that section. So yeah, get items. I want to think about this. with a limit. And I'm concatenating. And returning the results. Okay. Not sure how important this is at the moment, but I do worry. I think there's a case to be made for bringing in all this stuff from the underscore section, but I definitely don't want to do that if it's going to be bringing stuff in. But yeah, it does mention that it could be in there, but it only wants to return one, and then also it. Yeah, so I think I might have to do that. Let's just say if I'm only using get items this way, then I do need to just allow that section to be included, which I hate, but I mean, maybe there's a reason I don't want to do that. We'll see. Okay, so I'm just kind of going through again. Next first item with names, so that's like, you know, just give me the first item with a name, with a given name anywhere in the whole whatever you've got blob. I think the problem I might have with this one is I do want to skip the underscore section and just continue at that point. Like, I think I might say oops. Exactly. Continue. So first item with name, I want to make sure I get that. Prior item named. When do I use it? Oh, it's for evaluation. So again, maybe I do want to bring this underscore section in for that one. Because yeah, again, it's like, when am I going to be using this stuff? It's all for evaluation of conditions. That's what it's all about. There's not much else to do, honestly. It's like, okay, send over the edit. Yeah, so crazy. But yeah, this does all the evaluation. And I just stuck functions inside the function, basically. But I could call it something like, I could bring it over and call it an evaluator or something. Take it outside, and maybe, I guess it needs to have access to all the data and stuff. So it's in there. Then here's where we refresh. Now this is where it gets interesting, because I don't necessarily need to do this if it's in the data that's being sent over, you know. So I need to think about how, like, this is the thing, when you do that edit, like, the editor you're in ignores the change, but it does call this. So for its own benefit, it does this. So I would also have to do this in my working copy. So again, I'm duplicating effort, which is really annoying. I would almost rather just send over the new data. But if I send over new data, what do I get? You know, it's serialization, unserialization. So it's like, which is, I suppose serialization is probably quicker in some ways, and maybe even implemented at like a really low level. So it's like, you know, it's not using JavaScript to do the serialization. It's using, you know, fully compiled native code to do that part. Whereas this stuff is all interpreted and just-in-time compiled and all that. So, it's an interesting one. Is it the just-in-time compiling nature of things that made everyone start calling it Java and stuff? Is it because of the jitter? It's the jitter that made them call it Java? Let me know if you think it's the jitter. Let me go back to my live stream channel just so I can check my audio settings and so forth. USB audio in, proxy C32 out. Okay, yeah, all good. As long as the volume's up, we are good. Okay, just wanted to double check that. It's been real quiet here today. Boy, this bright light on my face, man. It's dramatic, isn't it? I hope it's not blowing out the encoding. We'll see. I'm gonna change the light right now. Hold on. Let's do this right. It's getting my eyeball anyway. It's messing with me at this point. Okay. How's that? More even? Let's do this. How about that? How's that? Oh, I meant to turn on the sign too. I keep forgetting. Let me do that. Hold on. There we go. That's better. Oh. Let's see what's going on in the activity stream here. I spend way too much time criticizing mean politics on the social networks. Maybe I'm being a little mean about it. I just want everyone to like. I wish folks would wake up. It's crazy shit going on right now. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. I should. Oh, there's a message from Chris Riley. What's up? Yeah, I think you can connect the button to a pin. And it should, yeah, any pin should do. I don't know if you need to connect, depends on the button. I think you just basically, yeah, you connect it to the pin and you give it some kind of voltage source or ground source, one or the other. And you're either taking the pin to ground or you're connecting it to 5 volts, pulling it up. And I don't remember which is goo and which is Gurk. Let's see. Oh yeah, a little help with. I'm trying to be a good guide for things like integrating new boards into Marlin, but I honestly I struggle with that. I've got the general gist though. It's like you have to go through this. Well, it's mainly STM32 boards that have been the trick because you have to like make custom variants and all this other stuff to like get the right flags in there and have it build just right. That's nothing that no end users have to worry about that. This is just for people who want to add like their brand new board that they just designed and had sent to them from PCBWay or whatever. It's like you might need to do some fancy digging into the platform IO stuff a little bit to make variants, but it's not that complicated. Use the actually it's built out by the STM32 programmer or Cube MX, one of those. You just, once you've got your board specification all described in there, you just output a file that it generates a whole folder full of files for you with all the pins set up in the correct way with the right, if you're going to use this pin as for a timer, and you're going to use this other pin for PWM and this other one as an input and so on, or you're going to use one for SPI and you want to use the built-in SPI, or you're going to use another one for serial and you want to use the built-in serial. Like certain pins are the ones you have to choose, but you have a little leeway. You can use this pin for serial if you want, or you can choose to use it for something else. So depending on how you've set up your board and what functions you've decided, how you've wired the pins out of the chip to the rest of the board, that's how you define it. I recommend generally following some existing design just so that it's easier. And generally speaking, you're going to pick the same pins mostly anyway. So, got to get out of the habit of saying so. Schwag. All right. What are we doing? It's live stream. I need live stream practice. We can't all be, we can't all be Zach. Although his scripts help. He does have a great sense of humor, though. I gotta say, I don't know where he gets his lines that rival the old Dennis Miller. The previous, I should say, the young Dennis Miller. All right. Gotta say, Dennis Miller on coke was so much better than Dennis Miller wishing he was on coke. Is that a slander? I guess it is. Sorry, Dennis. Love you, buddy. But you're a kook. Refresh all requires. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, do I want to do this elsewhere? Yeah, I kind of do. So once you've got an edit, update edited item, it calls. I feel like at that point, this is where you want to say refresh all requires, basically, as well, which I hate, but I think that's what you got to do. Let's take a look. Yeah, you're updating the schema just before you update the document. You get a message from the document as well. And this gets interesting is, when you have the multiple panes and so forth, multiple views on the same file. We'll see what we get there. Okay, so moving on. I think I must have been in like a non-codey mood today. I'm just feeling very distracted. Also, I don't know if I even got the right amount of sleep. It's like 3 in the morning, I think. I got up or something, or I don't even know. I've been getting up at strange hours and stuff, and like today it was getting up at 3 a.m. It's like, what was that all about? But or maybe I got up at 6. It was pretty close to sunrise, so I ended up waiting around until the local grocery store opens so I can go over at like opening time, and I got over there just after they opened. And it was very refreshing, but I must say it's so damn humid out there. In the last couple of days it's been raining, and yeah, and still 90 something, of course, so on a certain level I love it, and on another level I'm just like, yeah, after that first 5 minutes of loving it, I'm like, okay, that's enough. Moving on. Data type, right. Was it switch? So yeah, there's all kinds of weird things going on. Because you're only changing one thing at a time in this scenario. And the other thing is like, yeah, I refresh all requires, but if this is this, yeah, that's the thing. I gotta figure this part out. I think I just maybe need to use some kind of combo deal where I do keep these data structures separate from each other. Like it's the conditionals that are the important part. As long as I can get those, but also I know I'm doing it in a bad way right now, where I'm blobbing it all together, or at least like I have to glom it all together in a new way. So I'm thinking I can't refresh all requires until I'm going to say I want to refresh all requires in the other editor if and only if the thing I just updated was the first one. So I kind of need to say I need a little indicator. So I think I have this thing where I said document. Yeah, so it refers to its schema, so we know which schema it has, either the basic one or the advanced one. And I think I just basically need to say, okay, if We'll just say, shit, is ADV equals, sure. Right? And then I can actually say schemas. I think they're both always available. So I can say schemas basic also needs to be updated in the case, or I should say, if this is no is ADV or not this is ADV. Oh, it knows what I want. I love Copilot, my God. Copilot, how do you know? So yeah, I think actually if not this is ADV, then schemas advanced also gets to be updated. And then the other trick is that, you know, if the other well, the thing is you'll switch to the document and it'll send the data over at that point, but actually it's going to use its saved state, which we do not want. Unless, well, it's already refreshed its requires, but they won't be right. Or will they? No, they won't be, not if you've changed. So I think when I bring it over, I kind of need to, yeah, I may need to just send the data over in that case. I do have a thing where it's like, you know, I have an event I can hook up for when it appears and disappears, you know. Where is it? Here's on did dispose. So I don't think that's the only thing I have. Actually, one cool thing about this is I've been able to, one cool thing about this editor recently I've been discovering is I can very quickly get to what I want to by like option clicking on things. It'll take me to where the definition is and stuff, even if it's inside of, even if it's inside of VS Code actually. Sometimes it can find things. So pretty neat. So what do I want to do? Oh, right, I wanted to see if I can hook up something other than on did dispose. Web view panel is actually a, I didn't give it a type. I probably should. I think the way it works in JavaScript is you say colon, is that right? And then you say, maybe I'm thinking Python. Crap. What type would I use? Let's try string. See what that says. It's not, obviously, a string. I like this other thing that I just recently got. Check out this, see how what is it doing over there? See how it's sticky to the top? Shows you where your context is as you go. Isn't that nice? And then when you want to get to like, oh, I want to go to the top of this, it'll just take you there. So yeah, very, very handy. I like the style. It just changes the scrolliness of the window. And I was like, oh, I want to edit up here. What can I do? Am I able to move the cursor up to this spot? Yes, you can go under the little overhang that it creates. So yeah, it's a little weird, but you know, you deal. Yeah, it's pretty wild. So very handy. I'm going to be using that. I'm going to be using that reference a lot. It's just like so handy. It's easy to get lost when you have layers and layers and levels. Too many levels, too many layers. Okay, so I'm thinking. Okay, so I've gotten a little, I'm making tiny steps, but I'm being very cautious. Maybe I shouldn't be so cautious. Yeah, again, I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't bother with that saved state. I should just send stuff over. The only time I really, really need to deal with a total refresh is when I get on did change text document from an external source. And I actually was printing out, as you can see, I'm printing out the error, or whatever I should say, the message that I get, the event, so that I can see whether there's a difference when you do an external versus an internal, but it doesn't seem to be stark. Let's go to, like, I don't know, should I reload at this point? Have I got something worth testing? I did do the thing where I had it refresh. Maybe that'll help. The dirty and non-dirty thing, I guess maybe that's just broken and it's in the edit view.js somehow. I'll just have to find all the references to dirty and see what's going on. Yeah, like here's where it checks to see if they are equal and then does this thing. Set dirty flag, blah. So I could do this. It looks at a ridge and compares them. That's it. Are they equal? Let's see. Should I say doesn't equal undefined and oh, I see, that has to be true. Yeah, I see my logic. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, sure, let's do a reload. What the heck? Can't hurt, right? Hello and welcome to the stream. Just, oh, thanks for visiting. Just doing a few things here. Let's see. Run command. Run command. Okay. So at this point, it's not being seen, but it is there. All right. Resolve custom text editor. Very good. Update web view for configuration.h. Yes, you did. Okay, now we open ADV. Okay, well, I gotta open both, hold on. Okay, and now let's do an external mod to configuration.h and see what we get. I'll just do a quick change to, let's see, oh, I have some nice test data I should probably switch to. I'll do that after this. So I don't want to change that, but let's, oh, I've got this thing, this has a lot of weird stuff in it. Oh, I see, okay. So let's just turn off this one. Okay, what do you got? Add, on did change. So yeah, a content change, length, and then document is closed. Yeah, it doesn't distinguish between an external and an internal change. The other thing too is, like, this file watcher doesn't exist when this window is closed. You won't get this event. Check it out. Close the window. All right. Good. Clear. Do this. Nothing. Nothing. So no event. Well, there may be an event, but it doesn't. We're not getting that part of it. So we want to. Oh, the other thing I want to do is check that dirty flag stuff. So quickly. Setting to. Oh gosh, made a mess. All kinds of evaluation problems. Oh, interesting. Okay. I forgot about things like that. I almost want to, like, just split things on parentheses and, like, figure out ways to get the symbols out and just stick quotes around them and then go back. But yeah, this has to be turned into an other has manual move menu, and this has to be turned into an other is panel so that it can look it up. Oh look, it does. It did say. Oh, it's same deal. Oh wait. I forgot. Okay, so this is the error message that I'm showing you here. It's actually two pieces to it, which is the first is what I got in, this is what it's evaluating, and then this is the original, whatever it had. So it actually is correctly doing it. But when it gets to the other part, it has an error evaluating message, which I think might be me saying error evaluating. I'm printing it as an error, because why not? I wanted to be able to see it, obviously, but whenever I see red, I'm always like, oh, syntax error, whoops. But yeah, I think I did that. So this is a case of, whoops, my evaluation is not so much an error that an evaluation is I don't know how to evaluate, or I didn't find this thing. So let's just double check. Error evaluating. Hello? Evaluating? Hello? Oh, schema? Oh, it's in schema, of course. Bloop. Evaluating. Okay, so yeah. And that's before mangle in parentheses. I put in parentheses, like, it couldn't possibly be. Sorry. Let's just do this. Let's separate it with something that's a little more, or maybe even better, like new line, you know, or maybe a couple of them. Something, I don't know what you do. Okay. But yeah, here it's like trying to do, to eval, and it's actually running into an error. So if we take out this, we'll see if there's a syntax error or something going on that I forgot about. So that was a little weird, but yeah, we got a little sidetracked. But that you need to fix things, you know, as you go. Oops. Results append is not a function. Where does it say that? Oh. Okay. I don't know how that happened. It should be push, I believe. I think I was thinking in somehow I got thinking in Python. It's always a problem, you know, when you're working with multiple languages, like you start to get a little bit confused. Results append is not a function. Still? Well, where else is that? Oh yeah, foo. I forgot about that one. Push, please. Get items in section. Yeah, I guess I must have forgotten that I must have never used it before. Okay, so yeah, this is where I get that weird error. Can't evaluate. And I took out the thing and now it's fine. Oh, you know what? That was it. That was the problem. That was why I was getting it. Okay, we're good. All right, so it actually can evaluate it. It just needed to be able to evaluate it properly. So that's cool. So yeah, at this point it's dirty. It's showing it as dirty even though it's not, which is a little weird. So I guess start with configuration, just keep things simple and just get the basics working. So let's say I go to, well, enabling any of these drivers enables a bunch of stuff in both files. So for example, if I enable this I stuff here and then, right, look at all those options, oh my god. And then I go to configuration ADV, does it get anything related to the I axis? I don't have a lot. I gotta search, I gotta scan. I'd like to be able to do a find on the page, which was kind of cool. One of the, oops, I've made my links work, forgot. Whoops. Click a link and it works. Let's click on here. Like I can say Command F now. It takes me to this field, which is very nice. And if there's anything in it, it highlights it. So if you forget to highlight it, it won't let you forget. Oh, it didn't highlight it. Whoops. I guess it doesn't highlight it. I thought I was going to have it do that. Let's see what it does. Does it save the selection? It does. It retains the selection. I was going to have it select the whole thing. And I did actually have a select thing in there, so I don't know what happened. A piece of code in there to do the selecting. Oops, look out. Oh, it's Mr. Gremlin. How's it going? Monsieur Gremlin. Are you still terrorizing airline passengers at 40,000 feet? Okay, so we're getting no crashes and weird and stuff, but I'm not exactly finding the y-axis that I was looking for, and I've still got that stupid no results thing. I really did a good job hiding that before, and now I'm mad. Every time I switch over, it's going to be there, right? Or if there's anything in my filter. Fans. 3 settings found. Doesn't retain it here. I had meant to keep it on both. Well, no, I guess I just have one on each and they're separate. I don't want to have, I mean, I could keep them separate. Maybe you want to find fans over here. Oh, the one thing I need to do, obviously, hide those empty hidden fields. That's somehow not working on the return. Gosh, a few things to fix here. Okay, well, let's get into it. Got to fix as we go. So first off, what? No results is showing? Why? Let's fix that. Jeez. No matches and has terms, show the error box. So it's supposed to remove show when you do this. Maybe it's not calling hide empty sections. Apply filter. Oh, if it has terms. And then also the target, which I don't know why I still have target on there. I thought I'd fixed that so it didn't need it anymore. Boy, I feel like I might have lost some changes that I'd made. I feel bad about this. Oh, I keep going from one computer to the other, and I'm like, I don't always remember to synchronize, I guess. But yeah, I had totally removed this whole target thing and was just using form div because like that's always the target, as far as I know. Doop doop doop. Yep. So I'd gotten rid of the target argument. And I just did that. Oh, you know what? There might have been a reason I kept it now that I think about it. I think I was applying it to the form or something before I put, I don't know. I need to know. Yeah, I was right. I did keep it because I thought I wanted to get rid of it, but I couldn't. All right. So, as far as that goes, so what am I calling hide empty sections? Let's find out. Applied filter. I'm just gonna turn all the logging on. Screw it. It's kind of a stupid way to work. I mean, I know I can use a debugger. There's a debugger in here. Okay, so clearly things just aren't working too well. It's also I'm maybe printing a few too many things. Let's maybe not do all that verbose logging. I'll just log selectively. Fuck it. We'll do it live. All right, save web view state. There it is, hide empty sections. Okay. Okay, so I believe if I click on the other one, it'll just close. Yeah, it's gone. You got these things called preview editors or whatever, and when you click on a file once, it doesn't actually open it. It just shows you the file. But you have to double click on it to open it, and then you get it open in the editor. All right, so. All right, so if I say extruder or something, 5 settings, go back here, come back, and oh no, everything's still showing. Oh my God, everything's showing. What the hell? Why is it all visible? Even though the other things are still hiding. Like, it did remember to do that much, but all the other stuff is still showing what's up. It should have gone to hide empty sections. My guess is it didn't. So let's put this is how you deal with it. Breakpoints in when you need to do JavaScript stuff, you have to actually go into the JavaScript tools pile here and find your source. So right now I know I don't need that. What I do need is, let's see, if I want to get a source, where am I going to get a source? How do I find the source I'm looking for? Maybe I can type it in. Thing is, I want to put a breakpoint on something. So, here's something. Like, you don't know where it's going to be when you stop it, but yeah, that's not helpful. Let's see. VS Code app. Oh, maybe this is me. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's really holding all kinds of things at the moment. These are all things that are currently retained by your JavaScript magic. Apparently. VS Code TextMate. Oh, that's interesting. Why do they call it TextMate? Might have something to do with the syntax stuff. I'm not sure. I'll check it out at some point. Let's see. Right, so VS Code extensions. Nope, this is what we want right here, but none of these are the source file I want. Out, VS. Yeah, these obviously aren't. Huh. User? Unpacked? I don't know. How do I find it? It's not one of the things I've used a lot. Oh wait, Command P opens a file over in this thing. Oh, okay. And then I can type it in. So, okay, we want, is it schema? Or no, we want web view. Or no, not web view. Sorry, edit view. Been through a few. A little slow today. All right, there we go. Now we want to add our breakpoint. To, just kidding. Let's see. Handle edit field? No. We want to put it on hide empty sections and see if that even gets called when we come back. Yep, it got called when we came here. It must have done something. And, oh, yep, it got called here. So then what happened is the form just not built, and that's why, like, I haven't actually built the form yet. Well, that's a possibility. That would be silly. You haven't built the form yet. Why are you hiding sections? Although it should be hiding them in the form itself, which has not yet been passed. And if we look at the stack, you can see it's actually coming from here, which is coming from, oh, it is coming from build config form. Oh, but it's not passing form div. Oh, there you go. It's not passing target in that particular instance. So yeah, I think I had planned, but never did the thing I had planned. So that's what's going on. Oh, I'm glad it's something simple, if it is. here, of course, refresh visible items. Does it need to be involved? No, it never needs to modify an alternative reference to a form. So okay, I can put that away. Probably put that away. Probably go back here. Oh wait, go back to console. Clear that console. Okay. Und ja. Getting a little more of a straight-on view here. Okay. Is it good to be like working at angles? Should I be rotating my chair more? There we go. All right, yeah, here I still have my debugger. Cut that out. I want to fix that. Where's the debugger? Oh, there it is. No more breakpoint. You're gone. Okay. Carry on. Yay, it worked that time. Or did it? No, we still haven't gotten there yet. Go over here, come back. Okay, we're good. Yep, that's all it was. Whew, okay, good. I break things all the time, so you know, you got to break a few eggs. Okay, so we have that. We have that. Now, if I go and I change something over here that should be affecting something over here, maybe I can get it to happen. So let's find an obvious one. How about, oop, well that didn't even do that. So I'm thinking I probably have an issue. What happened here? Okay. Did I forget to do the hiding of fields? Yeah, these, for example, are supposed to hide as soon as I click that. Let's just take a look. Oops, shit. Uh-huh. Okay, I did get a change notice. So it did make the change, but then what am I printing here? Oh, this is the info about it as I've changed it. It's now true that it's enabled. Okay, then what? Oh, can't read properties of undefined reading SID. Okay, good, and that's on line schema 611. Yeah. It's like I'm in the middle of stuff and yet I have to fix it to catch myself up. So, okay. Oh, it's supposed to be SID. Oh, there it is. It's supposed to be foo SID. No, in item SID. I mean, it's there. It should be available here. Or maybe it's this line 606, was it? That was the problem? No, 611. Okay, so it's here. It can't read this SID for some reason. Well, I guess we're going to have to put a breakpoint there, aren't we? And 606. I don't know how else to do it down here. All right, I guess. Paused. All right, let's step over. And where's our locals? Oh, there they are. Okay, variables are under my face. Hold on. Let me move myself out of the way here. There I are. All right. I don't know where to move me. Ah! All right, let's move me here for a moment. Okay. Foo. In item. Okay. In item, we do have an SID. Foo. We do have an SID, of course. Step over. We now have a local called SID, which equals 2075. So it does equal something. Okay. Oh, maybe it's foo that doesn't have the SID? Oh, wait a minute. Data. Oh, no, it's data. So that should be Lin Advance inside of extruder. Oh, it's nice. I love debuggers. They're so nice. Do I always sound like I'm like coming to the world for the first time? I know I do. It's kind of been my attitude. I just want to be I want to be an alien arriving on Earth and just be in wonder all the time. It's hard to keep up, I gotta say. But I just my curiosity is like never satisfied. So Lin Advance. Okay, so yes, this would be the thing. So what does foo end up? It does equal something, and it does have an SID, which is the same. So then it says what? It's going to modify foo, but which is a reference also. Like it's supposed to modify the object on in foo, right? It should be an object reference really, not a copy of the object. But so if we step over, do we get a problem? Debugger paused. Did we just get that console message? Nope, we didn't get any console message about it being, or did we? I don't think we did. But yeah, that step over didn't seem to work. Oh wait, did that time. Okay, maybe it's not that particular one that's problematic. Or maybe, so when I do it again, it's problematic. I feel like if I keep running it, it'll just, like hit the problem or something. Like it's supposed to throw an error of some kind, right? Yeah, cannot read properties of undefined. I guess that's just allowed. Oh, maybe it's the try catch thing. No, it's not doing eval at that point. This is just, or maybe it is. Well, it's doing some kind of eval, but anyway, that's strange. Okay. Ooh, so what's undefined? I don't understand quite what's undefined. Guess I don't need that one anymore. Okay. Foo doesn't equal anything yet, but now it equals this. Oh, you know what it may be? Wait. If foo instance of array, now what's foo? It is that, so it does have an SID. Hope I'm doing it the right direction around too. Let's see. Yeah, the item is supposed to be overwriting the foo, the in item. So yeah, the value is undefined, which is interesting. I forgot that I sometimes leave them undefined. It's funny though that it still has the key though. So it's like I gotta remember that. The key could be there, but something could still be undefined. So, okay. is this the place where the console's going to throw the error? Or was it, yeah, this is 611. There's also Command or F10, neat. Console, nothing. Console, again, no message. Is that it? Oh, but it came back. Oh, maybe that's not the only place that it's doing it then? It should be though, 611, man. It's supposed to, or maybe it's just not printing the error message until after it gets back or something. I'm very confused. Like I see everything looks good to me. Moreover, I've been through this before, this area before, so it's like, what is going on? I really wanted to get this out to you guys as soon as possible. It is a bit of a challenge to get everything synchronizing just right. And especially when everything keeps breaking. Just in the middle of, I shouldn't be bothering to like care. I should be working much more on the model part, you know. But I have that. I mean, it's not much to it. I mean, I think I've got the modeled. I just really need to coordinate the changes correctly, and we'll get there. Beyond that, I mean, I feel like get it working really messy, and then, you know, you optimize, clean it up after. And if it's slow, you know, you find ways to speed it up. Maybe I don't have to send the whole form. I can just figure out what change was made and then send that over. Because it's going to be a single line, that's the thing. And so if I can send that over as data, like that's nothing. You know, it's like a tiny amount of data. That would be so much simpler than having to reparse the whole schema. So yeah, let's, I mean, I'm already sending the item over from the form. But yeah, I was thinking like external edits could be simplified a lot, because you do get just the lines in between where the edits are, which kind of in a way is cool, but on the other hand, like it can kind of suck because you don't know, like maybe just the first and the last lines were both altered, and that's usually the case, but if lines in between were also altered, you can't tell which ones were and weren't unless you do a compare of the raw text. So you kind of have to, you know, maybe I could do that bit on the way to passing the data, but yeah. Again, I want to try and do the least. Oh, as you do. You want to try and do the least. I hope I'm not fading too bad. I was going to keep this thing a little on the short side tonight. For one thing, everyone's out partying, which is, you know, as you should be. Summer's coming to an end in another, you know, pretty much a month from now. Right, so foo, SID equals. Is it possible that this just doesn't equal anything? Yeah, that's strange. Everything I hover over is there except this SI. Oh wait, no, there it is. So this should be, well, what if I set a breakpoint here instead and then run? What'll happen then? Okay, no error thrown or message thrown. Well, what happens if I continue? Where does it go? There, okay. Then it does refresh. And when it does that, nothing. Save web view state, which, okay. Right. And ignore update for this window and post the message. I should say ignore change instead, huh? Because that's the name of the message. But I don't know, whatever. Marlin Firmware group on Facebook has been getting a lot of activity. Unfortunately, like the kinds of answers that go around are usually just, there's so much noise. It's hard to find the, like when I go on there, I provide a definitive answer, you know, and like, you're done. Maybe I have to have a follow-up. Sometimes I have to go back and be like, wait, oh, I should have said this. Fix it. But yeah, there's so many folks who are just like post either misleading or just like useless replies. And yeah, I was mentioning earlier, like these guys who come in and just say, you should change the clipper. I'm going to start kicking people out of the group who you know, that's like a, it's not a free speech issue, folks. It's just plain courtesy. Like, you're coming to a group that's there to support people who are using Marlin, and you're telling them, oh, you fucked up. You should have gotten Clipper. Oh well, lamer. Just thought I'd let you know. Like, yeah, you just let me know what kind of a person you are, buddy. That's all you let me know. You're the kind of person who comes into a group and does that. I suppose I do that sort of thing once in a while. I'm kind of a jerk. But I'll own up to it. But I don't want to be out there doing that for the Marlin, you know? So, okay. Yeah, I feel a little lost here. I'm waiting for the message to show up that I screwed up, but I don't know where exactly and when. You know, it's coming up with this. You know, it keeps saying 611, but what? Where is it getting that from? I'm so confused. I am so confused. Well, clearly it needs to be there, but what? Right now, oh wait, maybe this is a case where, no, 2075 and 2075, unless it's wrong. I don't think it is. I mean, how else do you add source map? What's that? Continue to here? Oh, that's kind of neat. Add script to ignore list? No. And again, oh, did I clear that or? Yeah. I just, maybe I need to go, I can't go into a sign, obviously. A sign is low level, man. You can't get there. Oh, wait, you can set breakpoints on these, though. Well, that's interesting. You can set little sub breakpoints instead, like unsub that one. Well, okay, how about that then? Did I get my own? Yeah, wait, did I get the message or? Oh, I just got the message, okay. I did get the message. Boop. That somehow SID foo.sid isn't a thing. So that's interesting. In item foo is a thing which has an SID on it. Right at this moment. And go. So yeah, I guess it was, oh wait, that's peculiar. I don't know quite where that error is coming from. Apply config, again, I'm a little lost here. A little at a loss. Why can I not see SID and what the heck is up with that? And it's coming from handle message editor JS 173. Apply config change with some data. So I mean, maybe I could go there, I guess. Oops. Oops. I don't have an editor.ts. Why are you there? JS. Where is it? Somewhere way down the line. Hello. Edit view JS. Yeah. What about editor JS? Hello? Editor dot JS? Hello? What? I'm confused. It should be right here in the pile. Unless was it something like it's already open, but it's not. Maybe I just can't get to this file. That's weird. I can't set a breakpoint in that window. Okay, this is a little annoying. What the heck? What are you doing there? Oh, I see. Edit view. Schema. Oh, that's just being weird, I guess. Oh, no. I'm being weird. You're being weird. All right. Anywho. A little on the lost side here. Is there any way I can get an access to editor.js? It's got to be somewhere in the pile. My guess is it's probably being absorbed into some other script, but I don't know. Oh, you know what? It may. Yeah, no. It's not like it goes away. It's got to be there. It's got to be there. I'm very confused. I'm so confused. Like I'm supposed to be able to edit here, you know? Open file, please. No editor.js, really? Simply no. That's bizarre. Okay. There's schema. Maybe I can work my way back. That's really peculiar that it's not anywhere to be found. Well, I mean, I guess I can use schema as a way to kind of get there. Like it has to call new schema or, you know, the constructor at some point. So reload, I guess. Then we can follow the call stack back to it. From data. Anonymous, ooh. It's firing a timeout or something, I'm not sure. Oh, it's coming out of jQuery, is it? Ooh, interesting. Okay. Interesting stack. Oh, I see, it's being called from there, but then before that, you don't know. Some anonymous thing. Oh wait, it's part of, or is it? Oh, that's not exactly anonymous. But before that, it comes from jQuery, and before that, nowhere. Apparently nowhere. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. How's our time? Yeah, 2.5 hours, just about. I don't know. I'm gonna sit here being lost for so long. I just feel like I'm boring you guys. I wanted to show you all the cool things that this is going to be doing, but it's not doing them quite yet. I mean, it's getting there. I mean, basically the hide and show, that's one of the main things, just being able to find the options. But yeah, this whole functionality of like the changes actually being applied and then being reflected in the interface, you would think that would be the easiest thing, but yeah, again, if I made one big form out of it, I maybe, and then there was like nothing else, and that was kind of the idea behind the plugin in the first place, you know, like, or the extension was with the Auto Build Marlin pane, you'd have a whole interface, and it would do all the handling of file loading, everything. Now, of course, and then there was, also reading the pins files and doing something with those, and each file had a little bit of scraping to do, boards, etc. Now I'll be doing that as part of the editor extension, but I'm trying to think if there's a way I could do it where I'd have the whole extension has access to it. Either an extension.js, the root extension, or someplace else where I can just have it. And then there's a thing called I want to say a memelo. I don't know what it's called, a memtor. There's actually some kind of memory function, multi-schema. Let x equal new mem. I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a place you could store stuff within VS Code that is like your own little data store. But I don't know, I guess it's meant for persistent data, kind of like configurations, but then you don't see them. They're like saved with the workspace or something like that. I forget, but they're almost like hidden settings. But I don't know what I have to get more into that and figure out what it is. If I end up using that, I'll describe it for you guys, and you can enjoy your programming of your next VS Code extension. Resume. So yeah, I think I'll just take my breakpoints out and I'll just keep doing logging until I figure it out, because I can't put the breakpoints where I want them to be. I can't put one in editor.js because it seems to be like gone. I'm very confused by the fact that it's the one thing I can't see, although there's probably others. Maybe I can't see info.js, let's see. Yeah, it doesn't see info.js either, even though that's totally a thing. I mean, maybe it's not open at the moment, and that's why. I don't know if that would matter, but info.js, well, it sees info view. But yeah, no, it doesn't see info.js either. It's probably another one of those anonymous, it just shows up as another anonymous thing. So yeah, very curious. I don't know what that means. It's like absorbing it into a string and then running it off out of a string or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, a little itchy today. Chilly and itchy here on this 90-something degree day. I don't know. I might go out, take a wander, go grab a veggie burger, and bring my laptop along and do a little live streaming out in the wild. That could be kind of fun for you guys. See my little neighborhood here in West Campus, Austin. It's very nice. Yeah, I'm pretty lost here. I'm gonna just cut it off at this 2.5-hour mark, which is probably too long anyway. But yeah, and on the next stream, which I'll do soon, once I have this working, I'll be here to show it off, and I'll explain where all the screw ups were. So in the meantime, yeah, thanks for stopping by, and good to see you all, Discordians.